Hello! Welcome to Anime Mystics. I'm Roman, and tonight I am watching Carole and Tuesday, episode 6. So, last episode we were continuing the journey to try to get the girl's name out there. Going to Ertegun didn't work. Making a music video didn't work. Gus's next plan was to just go to venues and start playing until their name was out there. Which is actually what I've been saying they should do since Gus brought it up the first time they met him. Because that was his idea from the beginning, to go and get their name out there by playing in venues and just getting gigs. It was Roddy who said that was an old-fashioned way of doing it and recommended the DJ angle, but that didn't work. However, it was Roddy who got them the gig that helped them. Gus tried to talk to one of his connections. This dude who runs, I guess, the biggest music festival on Mars, but he wouldn't bring them on. Gus was telling him, just put them in the rookie stage and let them play a few songs. And he was like, yeah, there's a difference between a rookie and an amateur. Your two girls don't have any shows anywhere, so I don't want to take the risk to let them play at the festival. Which he's got to think about his business. So, it sucks, and I'm sure eventually throughout this show, Gus can get him to change his mind after they play a few more places. Let me see. We did get a little bit of an update on Angela as well. That's the other girl that's working with that one dude who only works with AI. He gave her the song that he's been making for her, and told her she had 20 minutes to memorize it because they were going to meet with somebody. When they get there, he tells the guy at first asks him if he's actually coming to join them, because I guess he's been after him for a while to work for them. And he said no. That's not the case. He was there to try to get, I think it was 12 million wulong or something like that, invested in Angela, which the guy was surprised by because he was under the impression that he only worked with AI and not people, which he does. This is an exception. So he asks her to sing it a cappella, which she does. And she sounded a whole lot better than she did the first time we heard her, when he was trying to get her to sing the different keys. Thankfully, she doesn't actually sound like that. She actually has a pretty good voice. And did a really good job on the song. And the guy gave them their 12 million. Now they're going to advertise her, which he said is going to be covert, because people don't like blatant advertising nowadays, and that's true even now. People don't like blatant advertising. I have no issue with it, whatever. And then we went back to Carole and Tuesday. Again, Roddy got them a gig. He talked to one of his friends that has this small little club. She said it's one of the last independent clubs in, I guess, the city, or even on Mars, probably. I don't know. And anybody that wants to play there has to get her approval. Like, they have to, I guess, do an audition and play, and then she will say, yeah, you can play it you can play here. But Roddy just came in asking for a favor if she would allow them to play even like a couple songs just to help him out. He was even going to play the video for Loneliest Girl, and she said, no, don't want to hear it. I can't get nothing from that. She has to hear it like in person, but because it was just going to be a video, she wasn't going to listen. And he puts the phone away, and she asks him, did you hear something when you were there? Like, did you feel anything? And he was like, well, not really through my ears, it was more in my heart. And so like, why are you getting all sentimental on me now? But said that they could play one song opening for a group that's going to be playing there, which he was fine with. That's all they really need. It's got to start somewhere, right? So he goes to them and tells them, I got you a gig. It's only one song, kind of like a trial. And they were completely fine with that. And Carole asks Tuesday, what song should we do? And Tuesday just says, why don't we write a new one? So they do that. They go out onto by a bridge, under the bridge, by the water, and start playing. Might not even have been a bridge. It might have just been a overpass. There were stairs that led down to this place, so it was like by a beach or something. So they're playing, and they're actually getting a group around them. And then when they get to the show, Tuesday is really nervous because, it is technically their first official gig. And I should probably mention now that her brother was actually in the city looking for her. He used the Instagram photo with the information on where she was to track her down. Only he wasn't as good as Roddy. He actually found the place and asked the landlord, the guy that owns it, if he'd seen her. And he just said, no. Well, he didn't actually say it. He just shook his head. And so he walks off. He ends up at the club when they're playing. During the performance, because they had already started playing their song when he walked in. And everybody was, at first they weren't even paying attention to them. Most people, I don't know, I've noticed when I go to shows that most people don't even pay attention to the opening acts. Like I went to a Muse concert once. I forget the name of the opening band. I remember I liked a few of their songs before I'd gone there. Like I listened to a few of their songs because they were on Rock Band, and they were a couple of my favorites to play. But they were there, and I don't even think half of the people were in their seats to listen to them play. I was listening to them play because, like I said, I liked them. But again, there was like less than half of the people there. And then when Muse came on, obviously it filled up. But the same situation here. Nobody was really paying attention to them until maybe a few seconds into the song, and then they started listening. Even the owner of the place was kind of shocked by what she was hearing. And the brother was just standing there and watching. And then after they finished their song, he just walked out and left. Like, he didn't even go talk to her. He just left with a smile on his face. I think he pretty much realized, she's going to be fine out here. She's pretty much doing what she wanted to do, and he sees that she's having, a good time. We'll see if we see him in this episode. During the performance, though, the owner got a phone call. I don't know from who. I'm assuming somebody who is in the music business because she handed the phone over to Gus, and he didn't say anything until I guess a certain point into the conversation, and all it was what? Like, surprise. So I don't know, maybe somebody called to offer them a job. Like, maybe he could hear them playing in the background, and he was like, "Who's that?" And she handed the phone over to him when, he got a little more information. But yeah, I guess we'll find out in this episode, I'm assuming, what that phone call is about and what is going to go on with them from now on, because I'm sure they're going to get more gigs and become bigger and bigger until we get to that miraculous 7 minutes we keep seeing in the first episode, or the beginning of the episodes. Excuse me. But yeah, let's get into this episode because I want to watch and see what happens. All right, so the video is going to be located over here, and the link to the reaction is going to be in the description down below. Yeah. And we're going to start this episode in 3, 2, 1.